Hello YouTube! I was recently inspired by a conversation that struck up on Twitter about old usernames, about the very first things we decided to identify ourselves by when we started creating personalities and identities here on the internet. I realized how odd it is that we're interacting here in a space where it's just as socially acceptable to be Kristina Horner as it would be to be Glitterfan17 or Werewolf Lover. Professional usernames coexist side by side with anonymity, and it's a really interesting testament to how diverse and versatile the internet really is. If you don't want the internet to know who you are in real life, or if you don't want your real life to find out what you're doing on the internet, you can make your username SnapeWasGood46, and no one cares. Thinking about this really made me wonder when and why I stopped using silly usernames and when I switched to my real name. I guess it's sort of when my two lives converged. I mean, the internet was starting to learn who Kristina Horner was, and the rest of the world was figuring out who I Talk to Snakes was, so eventually they kind of became the same person. But before that happened, and before I was even I Talk to Snakes, I had a lot of other really special usernames. So, for today's video, I'm gonna tell you some of my old usernames, and then I'm gonna tag some other YouTubers to do the same thing so I don't have to go through this alone. Okay, my very first username, created for me by my parents when I was 8 or 9 or 10, whenever we got the internet, I can't remember, was Tina Bells. This was one of my nicknames as a child, and it was actually probably one of the best usernames I've ever had, mostly because it was not picked out by myself. If you're part of the same internet generational period as I am, you'll know that AOL Instant Messenger was probably the biggest perpetrator of terrible screen name creations. I went through quite a few of these, but I think my very first one was Wicked Angel. You know, because I was like a good girl but with a bad streak, like sometimes I didn't make my bed. Ooh. I got tired of that one after a little while though, and decided that I should probably go more fantasy with the next one, which led me to Dark X Fairy. And it was spelled super dumb because I thought I was really cool and making up my own spellings for words. Also, that X in there, that meant I was cool. That was like a really cool thing to do. Then I started getting into online journals, and I had this one somewhere, I don't even remember what site it was on, but my username was Lady Jade. I literally have no reasoning or backstory for this username. I never owned anything that was Jade. It wasn't any sort of like birthstone for me or anything like that. I guess I just thought it made me sound regal or something. Then later in middle school I was obsessed with Tenchi Muyo, and I guess I like pretended to be Sasami or whatever, and one of my friends thought that it would be funny to always misunderstand that as Salami, which became my nickname, which then became my email address coupled with a whole bunch of numbers at the end. I literally had an email address with the word salami in it for about 2 years of my life. Then it wasn't that much longer after that that I signed up for YouTube and decided that I wanted the world to know me as I Talk to Snakes. So that's my username history. I am going to tag Nika Harper, Trade Chat, and Kiri Callaghan because they were three of the people that were involved in that initial Twitter conversation, and I'm very curious to know what the three of you had for usernames growing up. I'm also going to tag Rosianna and Leviosa because I think that you guys probably have good stories as well. If you aren't one of the people that I tagged in this video, please leave a comment letting me know what some of your usernames were growing up, or feel free to post a video on your channel anyway. This is open for everybody to do because I think it's a hilarious topic to talk about. I am super looking forward to hearing all of the responses that I get to this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.